Yesterday, my family picked a bunch of string beans from our garden outside. So today I'm going to be canning it up. So I have 7 quart jars here. Only 7 will fit in the pot. So I decided just to start with that and see. At the end, I only had like a sandwich bag left over of string beans. So it actually worked out. I cleaned all the lids and the rings, and these are Tatler reusable lids, so they have a gasket and then the plastic lid. The rings you don't have to sterilize, you just have to clean them. And then the 7 quart jars are in this pot and I'm sterilizing them. So you start a 15-minute timer when you sterilize jars from when the water starts to boil, not when you turn your stove on. So while that was going, I washed all the string beans. It took me a really long time because it was a huge pot full that we picked yesterday. And then I just cut the ends off. Here's what they look like. They were really nice and fresh because they were just overnight. I had them in the fridge, so they were brand new. And I just put them in the jars. I tried to put the jar like on its side so that they were kind of like all going straight up and down if it was possible, because I wanted to get as many as I could get in to the jars, but you don't want to like smash them down and break them all. Just as much as you can get in, you know, without harming them. And then this pot is just boiling water. So you put the boiling water into the jar and you need 1 inch of headspace on the top. So first I put the water in, then I use this debubbling tool to make sure that there's no air pockets. Because if the air pocket starts settling in the canner, the headspace is going to be less than it's supposed to be. So I got out the air bubbles, and the other end of this debubbler is a measurer. So if you put it on the first little thing, it will measure 1 inch. And you always wipe the rim and make sure it's clean. Here's the 2-part reusable lid that I always use, Tatler lids. And you put the ring on what they call fingertip tight. You don't put it down as tight as you can make it, just tight enough so that it's on. And I filled the pressure canner up to the line that it comes with the pot, like where the fill line is. And this hole right here, every time you use a pressure canner, you have to make sure that this hole is not clogged and it's open, and that everything is working properly. So you line up the 2 arrows when you put the lid on. And then the lid, you just slide this over like this, and it locks the lid down. And I always double check everything. I just put the canner on here, and it's not under pressure yet because the gauge is on 0, and this little thing here is all the way down. So it's going to take a little while for it to get going, and you can see right here there's steam coming out. You let the steam come out and vent for 10 minutes. Then I put this weighted gauge on, and this piece right here, when it pops up, that means that the pot is now under pressure. So I waited like 2 or 3 minutes so I could get this for you guys. So there it is. Now the pot is under pressure. You do not want to take the lid off or do anything to this pot. You can see right now, it looks like it's at about 11, the pressure. And the recipe calls for at least 10 pounds of pressure. And then when it's done, you do not take the gauge off. You do not take the lid off. You just don't touch it and leave it alone. And then the thing goes down to 0. Then you can take the gauge off and take the lid off away from your face because a whole bunch of steam will come out. You don't want to get burned. And you just use these tongs to take out. You can see actually the string beans are still bubbling. And just very carefully, you know, get them out of the pot. You can't put them on a counter without like a towel or something underneath because they probably would explode when they hit that cold counter. So always I put a towel. And since mine are Tatler lids, I just tighten them down. Regular lids, you don't do that to. And that's it. Leave them cool.